Today we are going to look at how to strip a VCT floor the wet way using a chemical stripper. And you can see this floor here needs to be stripped really bad. Well, when we strip it, what we want to do is go from this area that's dark and nasty to completely nothing on the floor at all. Tools that we're going to need for this job are a side-by-side scrubber, also known as a swing buffer, and a 12 to 14 inch floor scraper. Of course, we're going to need a wet vac to pick up all the slurry, and hopefully yours doesn't look this bad. As far as PPE goes, we are going to need some stripper shoes. No, these kind of stripper shoes, so that we don't slip and fall. We're also going to need a doodle bug to get the edges, and maybe even a small little scraper would work for that. We're going to need some distilled white vinegar to neutralize the alkalinity that the stripper puts out. That's why we use the vinegar, is it's slightly acidic, and so it will theoretically make the floor completely neutral before we put wax on. There are a lot of different scrubbing pads that we could use. There are the SPP pads, which are those dark kind of maroonish brown colored ones. That's for dry stripping floors though. What we want to use is a black high productivity pad for what we are going to do. Also, we want to use the brown doodlebug pad for our doodlebug. The chemical stripper we currently use is Ripsaw by a company called Buckeye. To prepare the stripper solution correctly, you want to use a 33-gallon trash barrel. And what you do is you'd pour one of the 5-gallon containers of Ripsaw in and then add 15 gallons of water to that. Use an old cotton mop to apply it to the floor. Work in a section that's about 20 feet long by the width of the hall, which is usually about 8 feet. Let it sit for 10 minutes. Sitting for 10 minutes, we're going to scrape it with our 14-inch scraper and try and get these big piles of goo off the floor. Next step is to vacuum up that slurry and get that off the floor. And then we're going to apply another coat of the stripper and let it sit again for 10 minutes. And repeat the process of scraping the floor one more time. So for yet a third time, he's going to put the stripper on the floor, let it sit for a few minutes, and then he's going to start scrubbing with the side-by-side scrubber, like you would scrub a floor normally. Then we're going to take the wet vac and we're going to pick up that slurry one final time. So our next step is going to be to rinse the floor. You want to take about a cup of vinegar and put that in your mop bucket with the water, and then start rinsing the floor. The edges, pay particularly good attention to. Make sure that you get the baseboards really good and clean. And then after that first rinse, you want to go ahead and give it a second rinse because we want that floor to be neutral. So you want to let the floor dry after 2 rinses and then start to wax. Now, the best way to wax, of course, is to lay down a bead of wax and then take a microfiber pad and smear the wax onto the floor. You really want to do 4 coats to begin with, and if it looks really good, stop there, and if you need one more, just add a 5th, but no more than that.